right? Like, yes, you have the Tremble Mortals to try and get access into the backline, but the backline wasn't the issue there for AG Global in game number 1. It was the front line. It was trying to get that shut down and trying to stop any kind of potential knockup. But we are on to game number 2 draft here, ladies and gentlemen, with AG Global up with 1 point. Both sides staying on their respective sides here, blue and red. But now we can see both coaches here, Siang and the coach for XARA here. The ban out of the Zhang Fei is going to be the call card here for the side of AG Global.
Smart. It's one of those things where you know the big team fights are going to happen. You got to take that away. Either you pick it yourself, which they did in game 1. They're going to be looking to ban it here to ensure that Code Unknown XARA doesn't get that one. That's super annoying to deal with. And I think that, you know, most teams are going to see like the evolution. This hero is completely back, right, on the map in terms of the meta. It is super annoying. And of course, they're going to ban out the Byron, another just big team fighter that just wants to be in your face. Again, just really 2 good bans by AG Global.
Yeah, fantastic bans here. They've taken them before. They've now taken them off of the Gorge for the side of Code Unknown XARA. But I feel like with the shirt and the higher ban here, it seems to me like OL is probably like one of the most untapped potentials here onto the side of AG Global, right? Because they seem to always go for her on those first 2 ban parts of the base, right? So mid lane being locked down here as well. Obviously, the Breeze Heart now goes over to the side of A on XARA, but they do get the Lung this time, which was obviously one of the first bans for AG Global. But when you're pairing that up against a Parasolar can use the Maple Dance to cancel out the heat from those Flaming Palms.
Yeah, the Lung has been kind of going back to the KIS4, and that's kind of where I look at in terms of just like the meta. It hasn't had the greatest amount of success thus far because most teams right now are really good at countering it. It is the number 1 pick in the KIS4, obviously a little bit different than the Women's Series, but it's something to take note of is that teams have kind of solved it in terms of just being able to counter it. The Zaxiao was one of them, the Nua is another good target there, but going into this, it looks like they don't care. They're going to go the Yangjian Dolia, another 2 power picks from AG.
Yeah, I mean, it's been a fantastic combo through. Like you say, you're making a reference to the KIS4 is the fact that the Yangjian, the Twilight, and the Sea Singer Dolia, this combo is scary, especially when you got such an eccentric backline here, like you do on the side of Code Unknown XARA. You've got the Lung, you've got the Breeze Heart, but most importantly, the good thing about having the Twilight and the Dolia is the fact you can get the refresh on that burst skill. So it's a great means to draw out that infinite vastness there from the Lung, which is probably like the calling card, right, of this hero into the farm lane. Is the fact that he's the only hero that can turn into a dragon and get out of a sticky situation. But when you have such a god mode beast on top of you, how would you get out of that situation when he's just constantly exhausting that resource?
Yeah, taking that away, I mean, it's just the Dolia has just been annoying to deal with. But the Lubu, they're going to be looking to go with that with AG Global on this one. And it looks like some of the fans here, they have some stars in mind in terms of who they really like in terms of players. But yeah, when you're seeing like AG Global just dominate the way that they've been playing, I mean, they're going to be more, they're going to get more stage time. They're going to have a lot more presence. So you're definitely going to be able to see just how strong this team is as well. So again, just I'm becoming a fan of AG Global as well.
Are you going to put one on your home screen? I mean, I'm not too sure if your significant other might be happy about that whole, but we will leave that conversation for another day so we don't get a bloodbath on the camera when you do return back to the caster cams. But let's go back to the draft here. Let's focus zone in. The Dolia synergy has only furthered here by the side of AG Global, right? You have obviously the Lubu and Dolia combo, which we don't seem get a lot of spotlight, but the fact is you have 2 Tremble Mortals, right? So if you want a more frightful version of Twilight and Dolia combo, having those 2 Tremble Mortals just to climb onto the backline there and really do some damage, you can use this Unrivaled Warrior, the Lubu, to do that. But then you also have the synergy potentially here with the I Ching, the Boardmaster. What's better than 1 board? 2.
Yeah, and that could definitely add up, right? And I think that the biggest thing is that they have so many good alts on the side of AG Global, right? And then the fact that this Lubu, sometimes it's kind of lackluster in team fights because you miss the Tremble Mortals or people just step out of it and then they don't really fight into it. So it can be a little bit worrying, but now you have the Dolia, you have that Celestial Melody for a secondary Tremble Mortal to get on top or to get out if need be. You have a lot of options and it makes your lineup way more flexible.
Yeah, to put it in layman's terms, for those that have never played Honor of Kings, Dolia is the Oprah of ultimates. You get an ultimate, you get an ultimate, you get an ultimate. So if you like to give over ultimates, if you're a giving and a selfless person, you want to be maining the Dolia, the Sea Singer. But this is game number 2 here for AG Global, going up against Code Unknown XARA. In terms of the draft here, Hauler, who's got your favor, right? Which horse are you betting on?
I mean, just in a vacuum, if I'm looking at this one, I think the Chicha Clash, we've seen this, you know, at the KIS4 just kind of dominate. It's completely been very aggressive. Then you have Menki and Jiachao with some control. You have Loom, which is always going to be a stock standard, good farm laner. Lapu Lapu has a control galore, right? But I like that draft. But at the same time, AG, they have that potential with the board. They have the Trumbo Immortals, which could be a problem. It's really going to come down to execution. I do like the players. I think mechanically, foundationally, AG Global are definitely, I would say, a little bit stronger. But draft-wise, I do like CU XARA here.
Yeah, I'm going to say the draft on the side of CU XARA is definitely, it's got its potential, right? Obviously, initiation-wise, you have the Dream Roam from the Monkey. You also have the Reef Heart Datu as well. Be able to have some fantastic engage potential, but you feel like the Lubu was not just a synergy call here for the side of with the Dolia, right? The fact that the true damage is really going to wipe out Monkey, because I've played this before many times in rank. You think, okay, Lubu, that's fine. I can Dream Roam out of there, but he can just jump right on top of you, and he rinses that shield that Monkey is known for.
Yeah. Could be a potential problem. And a great pick here. I mean, it was one of the later picks for them, and understanding their assignments. This is why Xiang could be that, you know, that edge. And having that draft edge is going to be key going into this game, because it's like all of the strengths that you're talking about from the CU side, and you rightly pointed out all of them, is that, I mean, the Menki, he wants to be tanky, but if he's getting burst through and you don't really have those shields, you're going to have a tough time here.
Massive tough time, because I mean that's the whole point of the Monkey, right? Is just constantly getting that bubble up, getting that shield, your passive stacked up there. So not only do you kind of tank a little bit more, you also do a little bit more damage as well. But like I was saying, with Cirium on this Lubu, that true damage is definitely going to be a hard task for them to face here. But the one thing that It's Me does have going up against Cirium here into the top side of the map is the fact they do have a bit of range, right? So up until that level 4, you can kind of get away with escaping here. But now we are seeing Kitty, both all rotated top side of the map.
Yeah, doing a lot. And both flashes were used here, but the rest of AG Global were on their tails. They were going to do some serious damage in that top lane. So again, it looks like Feya is going to be recalling, just kind of slowing it down. You're trying to be aggressive. You want to get It's Me that space. This Chicha could be a problem from the Clash laner, and you kind of want to just help accelerate that farm against Cirium. That was the thought process. But again, AG Global were like, okay, let's rotate ourselves and push out this lane.
To the depths you go!
Exactly. I mean, the Parasolar down to the bot side of the map here. Fire against Turtle. She's not going to have the hardest time, right? Obviously, just having that 1v1 potential there. Just as long as you can kind of mitigate those flaming palms with the Maple Dance, that's going to be the key here. Because obviously, you don't want to take too many of those here. But obviously, Feya coming from behind here, trying to get a bit of a gank.
Oh, but Fire just dancing around, understanding, hey, I'm actually fine. I have that mobility to stay alive. It was looking rough. Jiachao was not really in position to help support, but the way that Fire was able to just maneuver around, and it was like Feng Shui with just everybody.
Yeah, very well synergized there. Obviously, just kind of playing one step ahead of your opponent, right? Knowing that you're kind of being aggressive there, but knowing that the enemy team's support is going to be nearby, right? This is one of the mistakes that a lot of people make just generally with Honor of Kings. They feel like they get a free golden ticket into the bot side of the map and no one's going to contest them, and then all out of nowhere, you got the mid, the support right on top of you, and you die first blood. But that wasn't the case here for AG Global. They're playing with a steady head on their shoulders.
Yeah. I mean, that could be definitely a problem, right? A potential, because you want to limit that farm laner. Fire and Turtle are going to be targeted, right? If you take those guys away who are going to eventually carry you to that victory, potentially, you want to limit them, right? So you want to take that out. That bottom lane is definitely going to be key for them, but at the same time, now it's going to set things up for the 4-minute timer. This is another key factor of just being able to put that pressure in the bottom lane. Maybe you get a kill, open up a little space with a numbers advantage, and take that tyrant early.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, the Tyrant early, it's something that obviously AG Global wasn't able to do in game number 1, right? So definitely going to look to make sure that they get that progression, get that marker going for them. And to be honest, if you are Code Unknown XARA, that's something you don't want to allow happen, because currently right now you see AG with surmountable gold lead compared to that game number 1, and XARA doesn't have that double kill going for them in the favor before that 4-minute mark. So the pressure down to the bot side of the map that existed in game number 1 doesn't exist right now, Hauler.
And this is kind of the problem after losing that first game, right? You think that, you know, you had a fighting chance, but now you've lost. You've tasted defeat, and it's very bitter. Nobody likes that. But at the same time, now you're playing a little bit scared. You're trying to play a little bit more stock standard, stay in your lane, just kind of help support, you know, very reactive Honor of Kings. And if you're looking at what AG Global are doing, they're happily taking all of that space that's given to them. They've created a sizable lead already, and it's not even 5 minutes in. And now it's so tough for CU to kind of come back, because you have to force the issue in some way. But a nice little dream roll onto OL. They're not able to get her yet again, and she slides on out.
Such a slippery hero Parasola is. I love seeing players that really know how to pilot this hero play. It's just a different kind of masterclass. But like you were saying, the board being committed here as well is really going to be pretty impressive here. It's trying to get the T1 takedown, and Veya has to get out. But can they get a bit of a kill here? The problem is the Tremble Mortal into the backline.
Oh, Kitty tried to hound it forward, not enough, and Veya just barely staying alive. Here's the Infinite Fastness, has to go back to the mid lane, but it looks like they've got a better target. MiuMi just trying to run away.
Oh my goodness.
She's got enough shields, but it looks like Kitty's gonna go down. Turtle with first blood yet again, and looking to just go for more. No, AG Global are gonna run off now.
Yeah, that wasn't the first blood I was predicting there. I mean, you saw so many low health bars. 2 to be exact was Veya, and then MiuMi into the mid lane escape. And the one point I wanted to make as well is the fact before all that even took place, MiuMi's blue buff, the Azure Golem, got taken away there onto the side of AG Global. So when you're playing a monkey without a blue buff, it just makes it a little bit harder to maintain that shield. It keeps spamming that burst skill. But now they're able to try and get that back here. But there's Tremble Mortal in the backline.
Tremble Mortals on the backline. Serial finding it. Turtle not able to take off. And it looks like they're going to get even more as 3 members go down from CU XARA. AG Global, perfect engage. That's exactly how you want to win those team fights and give your team a sizable lead in the early game.
See, without the Dolia, that wouldn't have been a situation that XARA was be like, oh, okay, like, we've seen the Tremble Mortal enter the bot side of the map, we've got a bit of time to make a bit of a leeway. But now, instead of leeway, he's got that Dream Arm out of there. The Twilight is not going to be able to take down Monkey once again. MiuMi is getting that out with just a little bit of a health bar, but also losing once again that Azure Golem. It was all thanks to that pressure that AG Fire created when that whole transaction was happening into that top to the mid side of the map. Is that Fire was still contesting and putting pressure onto the Azure Golem, basically saying, hey, look, I'm going to take this if you don't come in kind of like, if you don't contest me, this is mine. And fortunately, it was enough for here for the side of AG Global to maintain the steal of that Azure Golem.
Taking that away was going to be great for them, but MiuMi surviving just barely a sliver of life twice, right? She is definitely playing with fire. Fire's on the other side. But it's a moment where you're kind of, you know, you got to be super careful, because those moments are going to be even far and fewer between. The Hound on 4, they find It's Me. They get the perfect pick. Kitty with a nice ambush there.
If it wasn't almost 6 a.m. in the morning here in the UK, I definitely would have made a howl noise there for the side of Kitty just diving onto the back line. A is the next victim, and then the T3 get takedown. Bot side of the map here.
Oh, the Dream Realm. They're not going to let her go this time, and they get yet another Kitty with a double, and they're just looking to end this game. And as just quickly as this game started, sub 8 minutes, they will take game number 2 in a hurry.
I don't think there's even a team here within Season 4 Invitational that can say they've had many 8-minute games, and AG Global come through and it's like, all right, Bat, let's make an easy 8-minute game here for us. But we revisit that draft of game number 2, right? So game number 1 draft looked solid. Game number 2 draft, it's hard to fight against, especially with what you've got on the side of Code Unknown XARA there. But I have to give effort. Props where props due, right? XARA really did try there. They were able to first blood once again, but it just really starts to translate here and kind of hits back home for those players that you see in your ranked games that seem to think that, oh, if first blood happens, it's not the winner or at least a statement piece for the game to be in your favor unless you have that gold lead and other resource leads going for you.
Yeah, just completely with that lead. That's like the biggest piece, right? Seems like, CU Zara really didn't have any answers for this Titan, this steamrolling death ball that was the AG Global lineup. And they were able to just control that out. But again, congratulations. They made a quick series of this one. It's 2-0. They will move on. And it looks like, we have some other teams. There's only 2 other teams that are still standing, but AG Global looking to be very, very formidable in terms of their involvement.
Oh, absolutely. Very formidable. I mean, I don't want to butcher the name, but I think it's Hive and MVTR, obviously by Vitality, will be the match tomorrow that we get to witness there. So that's going to be another interesting matchup that we will see here. But obviously, it is a 2-0 for the side of AG Global. So congratulations for those to becoming the first grand finalist for the Honor of Kings Women's Series number 3. So they are looking to maintain and defend their championships that they have defended so many times already within the Women's Series.
Yeah, very impressive win. Just very clean. And I have to say, I got to give props to also Coach Seong on this one, because the drafts were pretty good. It didn't seem like there was any sort of weakness or any sort of, misplays, because this is a well-oiled machine. They seem to understand what they need to do to ensure that no team can kind of really compete with them. And in a subpar, a sub 8-minute game, that's an amazing one, right?
I mean, even with Siang there as well, it feels like that the players on the side of AG Global here seem to be a bit of a self-autonomous locomotive, it seems. Like they were just pretty much like, it seemed like it was just on autopilot the way they were playing the game. I couldn't really falter any decisions they were making, right? Like they were obviously with the C Singer as well as Kitty onto the Trialite. They were always pretty much rotating together, which is obviously a good point when you are playing the Yang Jian and the Dolia combo. And then Parasola having that advantage for herself into the bot side of the map, regardless of the support player on the side of Code Unknown Zara being constantly down that side of the map. She was happily taking that 2v1 scenario, and then obviously into the mid lane. If anything got too pressured for the side of Fire onto the side of AG, she would rotate down and give over a little bit of a helping hand, a little bit of a buddy system there for the side of AG Global. But this is going to be the post-game analytics here, and the one that sits out to me here once again is either Kitty or Sirium here with that double kill onto the Lubu.
Yeah, I mean, for me, it's got to be Kitty, right? I mean, the 3-1-2, I mean, at the same time, I'm looking at her because it's like, oh, she had the most kills, but she had that one death. That's unacceptable, man. I think Seong should be doing some yelling. No, I'm just kidding. Kitty had a great game. Her hounds forward with the Yangjian, always in the back line, and just a lot of damage. And CU Zara just were not online to really compete with this Yangjian. They really struggled on this one.
Yeah, really struggled, but what wasn't a struggle here was Fire with that 38k damage dealt. Like we saw, obviously, itemization-wise, going for the typical Spark Forge and the Doomsday here really kind of made the uncontested Parasola and even more of a problem for the side of Code Unknown Zara. I mean, the closest persons to that was A and Turtle onto the side of Zara here, but still not really getting anything for or translating that damage into anything successful, right? Other than that first blood that we saw onto Kitty, that's the only time we start to see a bit of a comeback potential there for Zara. But at that moment in time, just like this gold graph is proven, is the fact that the gold was always in the favor of AG Global. And when the gold is in your favor, it's a hard game to lose.
Yeah, very, very aggressive. And the way that they were even able to play from behind or giving up first blood, things are looking bad. But AG Global are like, okay, let's just continue to farm, put our heads down. We're going to continue to be aggressive. Let them react to us. And you're kind of seeing that in the gold graph where, it seemed like Miumi was trying to kind of, get into the lane, but she was getting zoned away. She was being poked and prodded and just like being forced to just recall back. And AG Global just made them pay with all of the space. And you see that this net worth just continuing to grow in their favor.
Yeah, so much monopoly onto the side of AG Global, but it's going to be the MVP OL into the mid lane here onto the Boardmaster and Yixing with that 105 KDA. So the impressive part, obviously, this player was obviously the utility of those boards. really capturing the team fight for AG Global. And obviously you're going to see into the highlights some beautiful boards paired up with that Tremble Mortals from the unrivaled warrior here. Obviously first blood almost fell onto the side of AG Global on this brawl, but it actually turns into XARA's only real victory here. But there it is, the board, Tremble Mortal into the backline. When you feel you're safe, you are stuck between a rectangle and a square, and that is the sign of death when you are called Unknown XARA.
Yeah, and actually with that board perfectly locking them in, it makes it so easy to do the Tremble Mortals right on top, right? And here comes when Kitty is online, she gets to the back line with those hounds. There was really no real way to deal with them. Space created, and they just roll it down this bottom lane. And again, CU XARA at this point were reeling. They were just trying to stay alive, gasping for air, not able to find it as AG Global just too strong in the end.
Too strong in the end. I mean, you even see on the top side of the map there as well that Serium was taking that 2v1 against the Repart Daptu, as well as the Aween Lung there. And it's just like, you know what? I'm happy to take that 2v1 if we take the Crystal. And this is another thing that we've been seeing pretty much of a tale within Season 4 Invitational, is the fact that the